My English is suffering. Hello everyone, my name is Kristen. Welcome back to my channel. And this video is going to be about my April 2023 currently inked pens. I recently watched a video by Carrie from Pens and Tea. She discussed how she got her ink collection under control. And I would like to take steps in that same direction. Steps to appreciate the inks that I have and to enjoy the samples that I also have. So with that in mind, I would like to use one ink from my bottle collection every month. This month, I will be using Leonardo Officina Italiana Blue, or Officina. This ink is going to be in my new Asvine V126 fountain pen. It has a fine nib. I've already filled it with ink. I've already filled my pens with ink. It feels really nice in the hand. I love the frosted look of the pen. And when it's full of ink, it actually has a very nice weighty feel to it. It's not a heavy pen, but it just feels a little bit more substantial with ink in it. And this is a vacuum fill pen. So this is the bottle ink that I will be using in the month of April. I purchased for the first time a Diamine ink vent calendar. And since I have in one transaction added 25 inks to my collection, I'm going to be using at least 2 Diamine inks every month for this year. So this month I am choosing to use Diamine Memory Lane and One More Sleep from the 2022 ink vent calendar. Now for Memory Lane, I have inked up my Visconti Mirage Mythos. And I know I wanted to use a drier ink. I'm not exactly sure if this is a drier ink, but because it is a shimmer ink, I want to try it in this super wet pen and see how well I enjoy it. So I really like this color and I think it really goes well. And for Diamine One More Sleep, I have put that ink in my Kaweco collection, the Iridescent Pearl. This is a fine nib and I really think that it complements the pen very well. So these are my 2 ink vent colors. Next, I would like to use at least one ink that I received from a pen pal. And that ink for this month is going to be Robert Oster Summer Storm. And the pen that I'm going to use for this ink is the Pilot Custom 74 with a fine nib. This next pen and ink pairing is going to answer a few questions that I have. The ink is Rose Gold Antiqua. It is a shimmery ink. I previously used this in 30 Inks 30 Days, April 2021, I think. And I had a terrible experience with this pen. So I wonder if it was the pen that was the problem or if it's actually the ink. The pen that I used for this ink for the month of April is the TWSBI Eco Smoke Rose Gold. This has a medium nib. That is a whole lot of shimmer. But I am hopeful that the TWSBI Eco can handle all of this shimmer. And I know that TWSBI Ecos, especially the medium nib, they have, for me, in my experience, performed beautifully with shimmer inks. And so I'm hoping that if this ink is going to work in my collection, it's going to work in a TWSBI pen. This ink is part of the reason why I purchased this pen, because I wanted to give this ink another shot. This is a rose gold ink, rose gold pen. I just had to put them together and see if there's some magic or if I'm just going to be keeping the pen and either passing this along or creating some artwork with it. And another thing, my pen pal, I have another pen pal who gave me a shimmer ink, Diamine Razzmatazz, and I enjoyed writing with that ink on a daily basis. And I felt like it just made my writing so much more fancy just because it was sparkly. So every month this year, I want to make it a point or make it a goal to use at least one shimmer ink. So far, this month, I'm going to have 2 shimmer inks. One, I'm pretty confident is going to work for the month. The other one, we'll see if it works. The next 3 inks come from this sample. These 3 inks I inked up because they look so similar to one another. On coloring paper, they look like 3 browns, but on bank paper, it looks like 2 greens and a brown. So I love all 3 of these inks because they are such beautiful browns, and I do appreciate how they change based on the paper that I use. So for these 2 inks specifically, Sailor Yurimiku and Sailor Shikira Rikucha, I want to try them in similar nib line widths to see if I have a preference. And I just put this one in a slightly fancier nib, not necessarily the same as these 2, because I believe on Tomoe River paper, it's gonna look more different than these 2. So for Tsuki Gokoro, I have put it in the Pilot Vanishing Point with a fine nib. And for the similar ink, Sailor Shikira Rikucha, I've placed that one in my Pelikan M400 with an extra fine nib. So this extra fine is about the same as a Pilot fine. And for the Kokoroguma, I have inked up my Franklin Christoph Model 3 with a medium sig nib. So I expressed in my previous video that I really enjoy how my handwriting looks with sig nibs. So I figured with a brown color that I really do enjoy, and this pen that I didn't quite enjoy last month because it was the wrong shade of brown, hopefully, you know, it's going to work out this month. So these are the inks that I'll be working with and the pens that I'll be working with. So just to review, my bottle of ink and my 2 ink vent colors, 1, 2, my Pen Pal sample, and I'll call this one my diagnostic test. So I want to run diagnostics on this fountain pen ink with a TWSBI Eco. And these 3 are just personal preference. You know, I wanted to try and see how they perform and what my opinions are going to be by the end of the month. So this is what I will be using for the month of April. And I will go ahead and swatch or record my currently inked on Midori paper, Hobonichi Tomoe River paper, and on Yu-sari paper. This is beautiful. Okay, I'm happy already. We'll see if I can write a full page like this, but this is beautiful. Okay. Oh, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm already happier. I'm already happier. Oh, they look so good. I love how it changes colors as it dries. Interesting. This is a cooler shade of green. Oh, so it goes on cool and then it dries with a little bit more brown, reddish brown in there. I like how dark and saturated this is. Let's see, there is a bit of shimmer in that rose gold Antiqua. I like it, and I do like how subtle it is. And on this Midori paper, this is definitely like a warmer green with some reddish brown. This is a cooler green color. That reminds me of, is it Sailor Shikiori, Tokyo Amatsu? It's very similar, or it gives me the same kind of feelings. It's that color, that ink color. And this is surprisingly rich. I really like how lubricated this ink feels in that pen. It just feels really nice. So that is Midori paper. Let's write this down on the Yu-sari paper. I like how bright and how bold these colors, these inks look on the Yu-sari paper. And I believe this actually is beginning to look more like a fine nib. This Visconti with a fine nib with the Diamine Memory Lane inked up in it. This ink feels a little bit dry. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing how this performs on a full page of writing. We will see if the fine nib keeps up or if I will need to swap it out for a medium nib. But so far, I really like the color of it, and it matches very well with the pen body. I really like how this pen feels on the paper. Now let's try it on some Tomoe River paper. So let's take a look at these side by side. The blue is pretty standard across the different pages, different papers. It looks like the Aphrodite, the Visconti fine nib, had trouble laying down the ink on Midori paper, but it looks great on the, what is this paper again? Yu-sari paper. Yes, it looks nice on the Yu-sari paper, and of course I had no trouble with it over here on the Tomoe River paper. And I had actually forgotten that this was also a shimmery ink while I was writing with it. And so I believe it's probably going to feel a bit drier. That pen already feels a bit drier with that ink in it, but it's still performing. Oops, sorry about that. But it's still performing pretty well so far. We'll see at the end of the month how well it performs as I'm writing with it day by day, day to day. Kaweco collection, iridescent pearl, it felt a bit dry here. It was a little bit better there. And it was also a bit better here. But I'm really enjoying this Yu-sari paper. I received this one in an ink flight as part of an ink flight subscription. And I really enjoy the paper. It's very soft, very substantial. The Pilot Custom 74, it is reliable as always. It doesn't seem to stand out in the collection of pens, a collection of inks and pens that I have right now, but it is very reliable, very subtle, hint of color. Not too bright, not too bold, but it looks good. I am very pleasantly surprised about the TWSBI Eco Smoke Rose Gold so far. It lays down a very nice, thick line on all three papers. See, I knew I could trust TWSBI to treat me right. Pelican M400. I really like this color. I actually like the Rikyu Chop more than the Suki Gokoro. This is looking like a standard green on these three papers. That Suki Gokoro, it looks brown, or it has a brownish, reddish brown sheen to it on the coloring paper, but it looks so green. A tealish, grayish green on these three papers. Now the Franklin Christoph with the Yurimiku Kokoro Guma, I am really enjoying the thickness of the ink and how the ink looks on all three papers. It looks pretty dark here on the cream Tomoe River, but I like how it stands out against white paper. And of course, I will also be writing this down on white Tomoe River paper. So let's take a look at these. So this is Midori Tomoe River. And these are the colors that I would love to write with this month. I've got my warm greeny brown colors and my pop of cool tone colors. So the blue purples, and a little bit of gold, rose gold. And once again, this is the Yu-sari paper. And the cream Tomoe River paper. Shockingly, I am enjoying how bold this Leonardo blue is on all of these papers. I like how it stands out and how it's so easy to read and it's so eye-catching. So this is my currently inked. Hope you have a wonderful day. If you want to see more videos like this, hopefully they will improve over time. Go ahead and subscribe, like, and share your comments, your thoughts on the colors that I selected, and let me know how you select your colors. Until next time, have a great day.